Emancipation is long overdue, so it becomes procrastination, cause freedom is within you. For some reason we think we're free, so we'll never be, because we haven't recognized slavery. You still a slave, look at how you behave, debating on where and when and how and what master gave.
Hello everybody and welcome to This Week in Tyranny, episode 14. And this is a weekly show about authoritarianism, government overreach, and global injustice. Like I say every week, and this week, in episode 14, it is March 10th, 2023. And this show will be about Joe Biden's new multiple trillion-dollar budget plan. And more specifically, it's just going to be an off-the-top, informal, shooting from the hip episode where I prepared notes for it, but I'm not even bringing up the notes. I really want to talk off the cuff because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, not only because it doesn't deserve a lot of time, also because I'm spending this weekend preparing for my presentation next week, Babyface Criminality. Babyface Criminality will be live. I'm aiming for March 19th. I'll see if I could do that. I'll do everything in my power to do that. So why even do the notes? Why prepare it? Why meticulously go through the news? Because if we're going to talk about Joe Biden's multiple trillion-dollar new budget plan, it would just be a waste of time. It doesn't deserve that, because let's talk about it in a very real way. The way it's in the news, it comes off in the news like, oh, Joe Biden proposes cutting the deficit, cutting the national debt, right? So the way they talk about it in the news is like he's actually going to, contribute something or reduce the amount of spending that the government's doing. But that's not what this actually is. This is a huge plan of new money here, money spent here, money spent there, and some money cut a little bit that is already programs that shouldn't already be in effect. Why? Because government shouldn't be allowed to steal our money to put that forth to different kinds of programs and so forth. But let's step back even further than that. How do we even have a debt at all? How does this nation have a debt? Who do we owe the debt to? And I know the answer to that question, right? I know the concept of the Federal Reserve, but think about it. Why does this whole nation have a debt? You don't have to, you might have to borrow money from somebody here and there, but this whole nation is just trying to pay back the debt. And let's just take a second and stop feeding into this ridiculous system and think about why you have to have a debt to anybody. And what do those people do? What did they contribute to us, to this nation, to now us have to repay them? They just print the money. Is there anything inherent about them that makes them legally, or in reality, in nature, that makes them fit to be able to give you that money? It's as arbitrary as if you did it or a 6-year-old did it. This is more ridiculousness, and everybody is buying into it. Because everybody's polarized, even the people that are going to criticize Joe Biden. I see the Republicans have already opposed it. But then in a New York Times article, they ran through the records of Republican spending. And turns out they're at least 50% as guilty as the Democrats in how this the raising of the spending, and thus the debt, the deepening of the debt. They're just as responsible for that, if not more. And of course they are. And that's why I wanted to just rattle off about this, because I have to address the people. I know most people oppose Joe Biden, but you guys are not getting the issue. Because the truth is, if your life was fine, if you had some relative freedom, if you had all your money and this country wasn't rapidly deteriorating into totalitarianism, if it was happening to another country, people wouldn't care. And this is what I'm seeing, is that, if you had the supermodel wife and and your dream car and a big house, nobody would even speak up about injustice. And that's what I'm coming to see when I'm looking at all this. You know, I understand why radio, just hosts and researchers, why they're always so angry. You know, I understand this because you do this stuff every day, every week. You're looking at all the different things going on, the tyranny in the world, and the people are like, yeah, right on. That's, you know, that's wrong what they're doing. But the truth is, these people aren't even on my side. You know, a lot of these people that we seem to have, we just have a common enemy. That's about it. But the truth is, they wouldn't really help anybody if it was happening to somebody else. They don't share my humanitarian drive, and it's not even humanitarian. It's not that I'm some type of empath who's just overflowing with empathy and I want to help the world. You know, I would just want to be left alone like everybody else. But I've actually sobered up enough to see all the craziness going on in the world and all the suffering, and I'm just like, all right, that's it. I know I'm gonna lend my hand to try to make this a better place, because I don't want to be around people who are so dumb and are just not paying attention to the real stuff. They're paying attention to politics because they want their savior. I'm not looking for a savior, you know. I can't believe people are still watching politics. You know, this is just so fake. This is so childish. And when the Republicans kick Joe Biden out of office, they're going to get voted in. And there's going to be another multiple trillion dollar spending plan. It's going to be the same thing. And these people all benefit from the fantasy, the concept that somehow we're in debt. This country is not in debt. You know how to fix the national debt? You just carry on with your life. You stop worrying about, oh, we have to do this. What Joe Biden's doing is wrong. This guy, we have to do this. You don't have to do anything but stop doing immoral actions. That's what people love doing. They love supporting immoral behavior, and that's what they're doing, and that's what they'll continue to do. Because the people in power are just taking advantage of that, because they know who they are. They know they just want their little corner. They want to get as much money as possible, but they don't really want to go out there and fight for other people's rights to actually do that thankless work. Because if people aren't getting paid, they won't even get off the couch. So I could rant further, and there's a lot more to talk about. Oh, like for example, I could talk about, you know, why are you looking for a savior in politics? Why are you looking for a savior in anybody you hear about in the news? Wasn't there a savior 2,000 years ago? What's wrong with him, you know? And they crucified him, and the people now are saying they love Jesus so much they don't know the first thing about Jesus. You know, talking about living morally, and the people just want their personal savior. And if Jesus was around today, with having this kind of technology, and how many more things we've lived through the plague, through the Inquisitions, you know, medieval feudalism, World War I, World War II. Imagine if the Savior came today. Would he still speak in those parables like in the Bible? Or would he be a lot more angry than me? You know what I mean? Like, the kid gloves have to come off. Because it just is becoming redundant talking about another thing Joe Biden did. I'm just getting tired of hearing myself talk about stuff like that, you know? But I did want to focus on this because it's basically the number one story this week. And this is the thing that people are going to fight over. Or they're going to say, no, that's a distraction. This is the real issue. And all those real issues, they're not about core principles, and even a step even deeper, going past core principles. What this is about is that the people are cowardly and lazy, and they don't actually want to get up off their ass to help another person unless it's in their self-interest, right? So that's where my allies are. People who would get up off their ass to help somebody and not get anything in return, right? And I know, you know, that's what Jesus talked about while he was alive. And the people that were with him, there was only like 12 of them. Yeah, I strive to be somebody who can say that they were part of that crew. You know what I mean? Like, I live my life in that way because it's gone too far. There's so much tyranny going on that at a certain point you don't even blame the people who are doing the wrongdoing, because they're just like psychopaths who are gonna do what they do. They have no reason not to commit crimes. That's what criminals do, you know. Criminals commit crimes. Crackheads smoke crack. Like, they're gonna do what they do. The problem is the people who never say no to them, never oppose them, and never stand up to them, and are not willing to change, to lift one finger to make the world a better place, right? So I think I'll end it there. It was about twice as long as I wanted to make it, but I will be back next week, even though that is the week I'm doing my presentation. I'm going to do this every week because tyranny doesn't stop, and I'm not going to stop either. And if tyranny raises the levels, we're gonna go toe to toe with them, you know? The gloves are off, and we're going blow for blow until somebody falls. So thank you very much. Enjoy your week. I'll see you next week on This Week in Tyranny.
You either vote for the mumps or the measles. Whether you vote for the lesser of two evils, you vote for evil. Politics and God are not equal, but the education to get on God is really lethal. People have more respect for a holy book than they do for a cow on a